Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Finance Junkies. We are here. What's today? Wednesday? Wednesday, January 3rd. How's your 2024 going, guys?
I was expecting the moon.
Like,
all I got was this T-shirt. You know what I'm saying?
we did not get the moon.
I do actually got a funny story. You want to know how my day's going? I'll tell you exactly how my day's going because I had a moment that was like a perfect analogy for how the year's been going so far. So I'm hanging out with Justice, hanging out with him. Everything's cool, and I'm like, yo, let me just go change a diaper. He needs to go change his diaper. So I lay him down, and I'm like cleaning his butt because he had pooped. So I cleaned his butt a little bit, and I heard a little air come out. I heard like, and I was like, oh man. Oh shit! I just like he would normally have to burp him, but I was like, man, he just like released the valve. So I was cleaning him some more, and then I heard another like little. I was like, oh man! So I was like literally about to tell my wife, yo, I think I found a way to like help when he's got gas, just like just kind of clean him and wipe his butthole. And bro, at the moment I fucking took my eye off of him, he let out a fucking SpaceX rocket of shit. It was like one of those machines at Carvel or whatever, the Baskin Robbins, but like on overdrive. He shot this like jet of hot turd all over the place. And so I'm screaming. I'm like, yo, I was at my wife's name, Juliet. I was like, Juliet, 911, we got a code brown. And she's like, I'm busy. I was like, code brown.
So that those airs were farts.
Hands all covered.
Those airs were the warning shots. At least he gave me the two. He gave me the two in the air, like pa, like Oh, it was hysterical.
Yeah, like there's no justice in this world. That was in the mid joke, I think.
Damn, I missed it, dude. I'm so mad I missed it.
So anyway, that was how my day. That's how my year's going. It's been great. When you think everything's great, it just got shat on. So, talk to me.
By the way, well, to bring it back to stocks besides poop. I saw Scott said, yeah, he lost $5,000. What are you upset about, man? The year is going to end great. We have opportunity to buy more shit right now. I think it's actually amazing that we're given chances in the market because people get greedy really fast. They don't like waiting. So everybody apparently waited till January 1st, 2nd, when they can take some profits and not have to pay for another year and a half, basically, right? When taxes are due.
Yeah.
So that's good news. That's the stocks that you wanted or the crypto that you wanted. Well, it's coming a bit down. That is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's that whole cycle of markets, right? Where you are in the cycle, like, oh, it's too high. As it's going up, you're like, oh, it's too high. Wait for a pullback. Then as it's coming down, you're like, oh, it could go lower. It could go lower. It could go lower.
Everybody's like, okay, I'm not buying shit.
And it gets really low. Like, oh man, this thing's going to zero. Then it starts turning up again. You're like, oh, I missed it, and you end up buying at the fucking top. It's like,
right.
The only way you avoid that is by DCAing, I imagine.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
I think you only got to DCA into high quality companies to avoid that.
That's exactly right. Absolutely right. You have to just keep DCAing. A big deal if it's $2 higher, $2 lower. Where's it going in your opinion? Right. That's the destination is what I keep looking at. Okay. So recently I've been buying these Bitcoin miners a little bit late to the party because it's 10x. I agree. It's a little bit of a chasing going on. But I feel Bitcoin is going to the moon. So if my thesis is Bitcoin is going to $100,000, my other thesis then is the Bitcoin miners have to benefit from it, right? And even Hood has to benefit from it. If that is my thesis, then I'm going to have to wait the 6 months to a year. And if it tanks and it goes down 50%, yeah, that's part of the game. Okay. If you get scared out every time your shit crypto tanks 50%, you cannot be in crypto. That happens every fucking 4 years. You lose 90% of your money. It's just that's the way it works. Okay. Yep.
You have to lose 90% of its value, but you don't have to lose the money.
Right. You lose 90% of the value. You don't have to lose the money, of course. You don't have to lose the money, right. And hopefully you time that peak, but I'm not trying to time these mini peaks. There's going to be a lot of them along the way. So when Bitcoin hits 69,000 or whatever, 67,000, it's going to retrace. Okay, guys, it's whoever thinks it's just going to just shoot up past it and go straight to 150,000, you're crazy. It's going to retrace. And someone's going to say they missed the 69,000 to get out of crypto, and they're going to sell at 40,000 when it tanks or whatever. And then it's going to go to 100,000. You're going to feel like an idiot. So you got to have a game plan for any of this. I'm talking about crypto, but it's for any of these stocks, equities, whatever. Real estate.
First of all, having the kid has been great because it's been a bit of a distraction where I'm not sitting there checking my portfolio all the time, which is great. The best gains I ever had was when I just ignored my portfolio.
You had
Yeah.
the kid to distract you from the portfolio.
Just ignored them. 6 years later, I was like, oh shit, I got a bunch of money. So it helps to artificially create that. But I've also sort of switched my mentality this year, like even toward the end of last year. I don't care about necessarily the price that I buy any individual share. The most important thing to me now is the share count. I want a certain number of shares in each one. And if I see that it's at a good price based on how much money I have to allocate, I'm going to fucking buy it. Or just do like a weekly or daily DCA strategy. Because look, I've been doing $50 a day in Bitcoin. $50 a day in Bitcoin for a while now. And I was like, I'm throwing fucking grains of rice into the Sahara Desert. It's like, I'm never going to see it. But I'm starting to see the position slowly growing. Like I'm somewhere around 1.25 of a Bitcoin, and I've never felt it. I basically took my fucking Starbucks money. You know what I'm saying? And I'm throwing it in there every day, ignore it. Sometimes I forget, oh, it's been another week. Well, that's another week. That's another $250 that's just going in there. And so the combination of both, I don't care anymore. I'm just like, I want X thousand shares of this, 1,000 shares that, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, what do I got to do to get there? And then when I get there, I'm like, I'll reevaluate whether or not I want some more. But what I have been seeing, I want
to agree with you in terms of you need a certain game plan for a position. Like you said, if I was like, oh, I'm going to get 100 shares of Enphase and I'm the bull here, what's that going to do for me? Like we talked about, you need a certain level of commitment to whatever you're purchasing. So I need to have thousands and thousands of shares, and then I just have to sit on it and not do anything. That's the game plan, not to do anything. So in your point, if I don't have, for example, if I don't have the 1,000 shares, then I just have to keep buying and dollar cost averaging. Sometimes it's going to be higher, sometimes it's going to be lower. And the reason you dollar cost average is I want to make it clear. Not everybody has $100,000 to put into one position.
We're not all Jesse.
And even if you did, by the way, some people are not comfortable doing that. They're much more comfortable doing it over time, even if they don't get the best price. So I would say I'm actually one of those people more comfortable dollar cost averaging because I think my positions are going way higher. So I don't care if I pay $50 more for a stock like Enphase or Tesla. I mean, what does that mean when I'm waiting for trillions of dollars? Like it means nothing. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to care about the extra $50 I paid eventually. And yes, some people say I missed gains and blah, blah, blah. I'm still sitting on my island with all my houses and everything's fine. Okay. Nothing has been fucked. Everything is completely fine. So people have to change their mentality. And it takes 10 years to get to that mentality. That's what's not easy.
Right.
Well, I've got a sort of within reason, 1,000 share minimum of everything, right?
Of any position. Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be 100.
Hard to get 1,000 Bitcoin though.
It used to be, man, if I had 1,000 Bitcoin, you wouldn't even know who I am. I would block all you guys on X. I would not
Usually the definition of get rich.
I would not let you know where I am if I had 1,000 Bitcoin. 1,000 shares, I think is a good amount because, as I mentioned on the other day on the podcast, it gives me the opportunity to make a mistake when I sell. You see, if I have like 2 Bitcoins and I'm holding on to 2 Bitcoins and then it peaks and I sell everything, then Vitaly said it goes up to 100,000. I don't have enough. I don't have any more bullets in the gun. So same deal. If I got, 100 shares of SoFi, what's that going to do for me? Right. So that's my goal this year. The thing that I did want to mention, and it's not necessarily for me, but the questions that I've been getting now from some of my other investor friends is they're now getting bored of their positions. I don't know if you've been reached out to by anybody on that context. Like some of my friends reaching out to me, asking me about a Novix or SoFi, where like last year was like, I'm going to accumulate a bunch of shares. And now they're kind of like, like, do I really want to hold it? Like, so this is where like these traders or these like investors that are starting out are turning into investors where it's like, no, you just keep buying it if you don't feel you have the correct share count, or you just hold it. Literally don't do anything. And so
don't do anything. Forget about it.
Sort of investment or portfolio fatigue. Like I'm sick of seeing this portfolio.
Master Goma. I want to DCA, but I don't have extra money. Yeah, that's what we just talked about. You don't DCA every day. That's not DCAing. Okay, so that's just buying silly.
Dollar cost average.
If you get paid every 2 weeks or whatever, you take a certain percentage of your check, 5% or whatever you feel comfortable, $100 or whatever it is, and you just keep buying, and whatever price it's at, you just keep buying. I alter that DCA strategy, by the way, so everybody does it a little bit differently. I DCA like Carlos. I just keep buying a certain amount of whatever I prefer, like Bitcoin every day. I'm buying every day now. Ethereum I'm buying every day. But when Ethereum tanks, I actually go and just buy more Ethereum. So I try to keep some money on the side to actually buy the dip. So I think that.
Do you both have a number? What's the number?
Yeah. Okay. Wait. This is a reference you'll actually get. You mean like the Walter White?
737,000. Is that
Yeah.
$87,000. $87,000.
Yeah, I've got
I'm gonna imagine a couple million for both of you is kind of the number, right? That's reasonable for your lifestyle.
I think after now reassessing where I am, look, I'm already doing reasonably well. So
you can say you're rich. It's okay. It's just
I don't want to say what, but I think I need over 10 million now. So I'm not there yet. That's where I'm aiming to go, over 10.
Interesting. Okay.
But
And
I
the
don't
reason
think
I was
that's the question. I don't know. Maybe I'm misunderstanding the question. That's what I think.
How much liquid do you need in Bank of America for you to be like, I don't have to work for the rest of my life?
Oh, but I could probably do that with $1 million.
No, I don't think you
Really?
can.
You think
I think
you got a kid, Carl. You got
No,
he's gonna
because
grow
the
up to be 18 years old.
No, I'm not saying it's not going to be work, and I'm not saying I'm not going to have to turn that money.
You're saying when you're 90 years old now, 30 years from now, $1 million is going to be something for you?
Well, not if I just keep withdrawing from it until the time that I'm 90.
Well, no, but I'm saying if you're liquid and you're not working.
Right now, just like as an example, even if I just took $1 million and put it into freaking AT&T or Verizon and got my 5% and I make my 50 grand or whatever,
It would be 500,000 in a month.
You can,
If you do what Chris did, then yes.
No, the idea is that with that, I think I could make it work where I don't have to go work for somebody else. I could probably do a combination of that, real estate, some investing. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what I'm saying, because $1 million, you're not going to live off 50 grand a year. But if you had like 3 million yielding you a conservative 7%, 5%, you could probably live off of that 150 a year. That's what I'm saying. I feel like that number has to be a couple million to get a basic yield that you could live off with your family.
But the number that I'm calculating that
I know
on,
Carlos needs hundreds of thousands. He's an expensive guy. Okay, every year he needs hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's those 3 that are in the house right now.
No, but I'm saying you have a family, you want to go on vacation, you want to have a nice house, you want to fix it up, which you do. So all of these things, it's a couple $100,000 a year minimum. So if that's the case, you need $5 to $10 million. That's just what it is.
But that's at my current not my current income, my current expense level. You see, if I had a fully paid off home, like let's do Dave Ramsey. If I had a fully paid off home and I owned my car, you know what I mean? And I basically got rid of all of the hard costs, like solar on the house, right? One of the first things I did was I just pay off that loan. Now it's just sitting there making me money. Same thing, my car, it's no longer a depreciating asset. I don't care. I'm just driving it. My house too, and whatever, just paying my property taxes. If I got rid of all of those bills, then the only thing that's left are bills that you pay for services, right? Like daycare. I can't pay that bill off ever, but it would drastically reduce the amount of actual money that I need every month. So let's just say, so in other words, if my house was paid and all of those hard bills were paid, then I could technically live on the same amount of money minus all of those expenses, because I don't actually see that money anyway. I give that to my mortgage company. It's not actually mine. You know what I mean? So I could technically live without paying whatever $4,000 a month in a mortgage. It would just be erased from my income. So I could actually live at a much lower income level.
Well, I know we can, but that's not the desire. I know what you're saying. Like, yes, we could probably all live on between 50 and 100 grand if we really went out and we paid all our bills and our mortgage is done. Yes, I agree with you. But, I want to go on a cruise. I want to go on vacation. I want to treat my family.
Cheesecake Factory every week.
I want to go to Cheesecake Factory every day.
50,000 a year is what? 6,000 a month?
Well, assuming your mortgage is paid, assuming your electric bill is zero because we have solar, assuming the car is free because we paid for it, and the gas is free, obviously.
What I'm saying. So what you're talking about is how much money do you need to spend? Because a lot of your expenses now are expenses that you need to live. So now I'm saying all that's taken care of. How much money do you need to spend in a year? And I would say I'm a pretty simple dude. I'd probably upgrade some of this equipment. And the other thing is I would be able to devote that time to some of the back end stuff that we're doing here on the channel, which would help grow the channel, which would eventually be probably could be even more lucrative in the future.
Yeah, we'll make hundreds eventually.
We will make hundreds of tens of dollars each.
Well, if everyone here is subscribed and likes the video, we might make
hit the like
a little
button.
more than that.
Well, we're going to do a new thing. We're going to ask people who watch our channel to actually subscribe to the channel. That's going to be a new thing for us. So if you haven't subscribed, obviously, please just hit the like, subscribe, and pass it on. Tell your friends. Tell your mom and dad.
I'm seeing 43 likes. Can we get to 100 likes? Just literally get to 100 likes. Believe it or not, it actually is something the algorithm looks at in order to help push us out there. And there was a moment, some time.
Well, I think 2024, honestly, like if we're taking this seriously, we've been doing this for a year. I want to be honest with the audience. I think we should push and try to get more people to watch, right? Then it's sustainable.
Season 2. We got renewed. So
you got season 2 is
Season
renewed.
2. I talked to the network. They said, all right, bring the guys back on. They're a little raunchy, but it's okay. And
Bring them back. They're only $100 a month.
It's the cheapest labor. Okay, let's talk about Bitcoin, because we got to talk about that. We had a flash crash. Well, I mean, in terms of the actual equity, or the actually, hold on. Before we talk about it, I had a realization about Bitcoin today. Okay. So I tried to send some money to someone in Nigeria today. Okay, about Bitcoin. And I went off about this on my market close stream because I was really upset. I was gonna be really bearish about Bitcoin on Finance Junkies today, but then my market close guys, they helped me understand it. I was sending $5 just as a test, and the network fee was $14. And I was like, it was on Coinbase. I was like, why am I paying $14 to send $5? This is the biggest scam I've ever heard of. And then I realized, it's a fixed fee. So if I wanted to send, $3,000, it would still be that same $15 fee.
Yeah.
So originally I thought it was dynamically priced, meaning I thought like if $15 correlates with a $5 send, if I have to send $2,000, how much am I going to pay in this network fee? But the network fee is fixed, which calmed me down. But that still is kind of ridiculous that I had to think of paying $14 to send $5.
Well, by the way, for remittances, there's other things. I'm not a big proponent of XRP, but if you wanted to send something really cheap, you would convert it to something like XRP, send it to that person. He would just convert it to Bitcoin right away. He wouldn't wait. He wouldn't hold it. So that would be the fastest way to do this.
Right. It did make me wonder a little bit, is like, because my whole idea a couple of weeks ago was like, oh, this is amazing because there's no JP Morgan in Nigeria, no PayPal. So Bitcoin, Coinbase is like the decentralized way I get the job done. I reward this guy for his services. And then I tried to send the money and I have to pay this exuberant amount for the network fee for the blockchain to be supported. But then when I realized it was fixed, I was like, it's okay because I'm sending him way more than $5.
Well, look,
so
understand the reasoning behind that. If the gas fee was $1, let's say, now, although you can't hack the Bitcoin network, you could overload the entire network with $1 transactions.
Well, why is that bad? Why is that bad?
Still too much money, by the way. They wouldn't do that. That's
what.
And by the way, the fees have risen right now. They were really cheap. So if you sent Bitcoin a year ago, it was super cheap. I didn't look exactly how much, but it was something like $1 or less.
Right.
So right now it's more because there's more transactions on the network. So you're competing with other transactions, mostly traders, in fact, for that same bandwidth. So that's why Bitcoin is not the best thing for remittance. I don't know. I know everybody talks about it, but no, it's a store of value. You don't want to really, I would say, not use it for remittance.
What do you mean by remittance?
Making payments.
But isn't that the point, that it's decentralized?
No, it's not.
Why is that not the point? I thought that was the point of Bitcoin.
There was a point at some time, but we've all discovered that Bitcoin. That was look back in the day. Maybe that was the original intent. I'm not saying, but intents change.
It's a peer-to-peer money transfer system. I thought the whole point is
it is still that.
But VITALY explained to you how you would do that. You can transfer the money instantly on Coinbase from one to the other. Just say, I'll take $10 worth of Bitcoin and convert it to $10 worth of XRP. Send that because the fees are cheaper, and then that person would convert it back.
But what if that person wants Bitcoin at the end of the day? What if they're
they convert it over there, and there are services that are coming to do this automatically.
Yeah, they would just convert it instantaneously. The thing is, though, the weakness of Bitcoin is its inability to handle a tremendous amount of transactions very quickly.
Is that why the Solanas and the Ethereums of the world actually?
Right. And that's what I mean. That was, yeah.
So I'm confused here. Well, why is Bitcoin the top big daddy of all these coins? They control the whole fucking market.
Why is Solana big daddy?
Well, gold is beautiful. Like if Bitcoin is not as effective as Solana, why is Bitcoin?
We've all decided it was first. Gold was there first. We decided that's the store of value. That's hard to get. Bitcoin's hard to get. Gold is hard to get. That's what we've decided that we are going to store our value in. That's it. It's done. There's no competing for that store of value. Okay. Obviously, Ethereum is good in terms of smart contracts, and there is some store of value there too. But no one is arguing that Bitcoin has won the store of value. I don't know who is. Maybe the Ethereum bulls. Maybe the Solana bulls. I have no idea. But Bitcoin has won. All right. Everything else is secondary to it in terms of store of value at this point.
You also have to understand with the age of crypto. I mean, when did Ethereum come out? Ethereum was 2000. When was it? 2000?
2015.
8?
I think.
No. Hold on a minute.
No, but it didn't.
No, it was early. 2012. I was mining Doge. If you're talking about Doge, that was pretty early.
Hold on. Bitcoin essentially proved the concept, and Ethereum was created was created after it, trying to like make it better, right? It was trying to
Yeah, that
improve
was
on
2016
all
or
the things. Yeah, well, it says right here, it was conceived in 2013, but it was in 2014, development work began, crowdfunded, and the network went live on 2015.
Okay,
right.
2015.
So
by the way, I got way more bullish on Robinhood because their fees were $3. Coinbase was like 13 to send the same amount, $5 of Bitcoin. And I was like, this is like amazing. Why the hell is Coinbase?
What did you do? Wait, what'd you do?
You
You
Dude, I just needed to test sending it to his wallet. So I was like,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah,
I'll send you $5.
Did you move the money from Coinbase to Hood?
No, I have my Hood account, which I have my own money. I have a coin. I have my own money. I loaded up $5 on both. I pressed send at the same time, both of them before I got to the confirmation. Coinbase was like, you have to pay $19, so $14 fee. Robinhood was like, you have to pay $8, a $3 fee. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is insane. Coinbase is getting away with robbery here. $14 versus $3.
I've been charged $5. I don't do this anymore, but I've been charged $5 at an ATM to take out money from my bank.
I don't think fees are insane because that's how the financial system works. But $14 to send $5 was just like at ATM, you're taking out at least a couple $100, right? You're not taking out.
I mean, sometimes you go in there for $20 if you just you're just low on cash and you don't want to have too much cash on you. But the point is, it's all about where you are and who's the custodian. When you're in Vegas and you're in the casino and you're there by the cashier and that ATM, how much do they charge you to take out $100?
Yeah,
good point. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be $20.
That's a good point.
So,
all right. Well, that was my little realization of Bitcoin today. In terms of the actual asset, a report came out by Matrixport. I don't know if you guys saw this today, saying that the ETF's not getting approved, and this is the crash: 45,524 to 40,648 within about 20 minutes.
That is not a crash, bro.
I mean, dude, that was bad.
No.
That's like, you see, that looks like a roller coaster. It's going all the way down. What are you talking about?
When you see a 50% crash,
that's enough.
Oh, if we get a 50% crash, I'm turning bearish on Bitcoin tomorrow. No, I'm just kidding.
They happen. Bitcoin does that. 30%, 25%.
I've got the screenshots to prove it. That is
okay. So what do you guys make of this? Because this was one random reporter who said it's not going to get approved, and this is what happened. If it actually doesn't get approved,
going down. Isn't that good? Isn't that good news? I don't understand.
No, I want to make money. What are you talking about?
Are you a whole coiner?
No, here's the question: Do you have enough Bitcoin?
Well, forget it. Are you even a whole coiner?
Yes. No, I don't have one whole coin of Bitcoin. Yeah.
Here's my question.
Why would you want it to go to 100,000 right now?
Because my third order derivative plays will get very juicy, and I will make a lot of money.
No, what you got to do is you got to ask yourself. Listen, you got to ask yourself: do you have enough Bitcoin that if it ran up to say 200,000 tomorrow, from whatever price you bought it, that you would feel like, fuck, I
no, but I have enough Robinhood, so.
But you don't know. But again, these proxy plays, you don't know necessarily. It might not be 1-to-1. If Bitcoin 5x,
it doesn't have to be 1-to-1.
You're not going to say that
Bitcoin going to 200,000, no matter how much Robinhood I had, I would feel like dog shit, honestly.
But dude, here's my thing. Now, because of the experience I had today with Bitcoin, I think of this purely as speculation because there's no fucking utility anymore. I mean, you just told me there's no point of using it as you said, convert it to Ripple. So there is no utility in it. It is literally speculation. And that's
no, I'll explain to you. No, hold on.
You're missing what I said. No. He's mincing my words. Store a value means you hold it until you need to use the value. And then when you need to remit it, there's going to be lots of these other tokens that will remit really fast and cost almost nothing to transmit. This is all happening right now, but you're going to want to store your money somewhere. That's going to be the place you actually store it until you need to use it. And that's when you will convert to whatever you have to. And it'll be all instantaneous and automatic. You actually will not know how this happens. It's just right now, it's the beginning of these things.
But how are you promising that it'll just instantaneously convert without them?
It's instant. Just pull up Rob H comment 626. He's basically saying what my argument is. It's large remittances is the utility. You're looking at it like, oh my God, I'm trying to send $50 and I got to pay $14. But try to send $10,000 to somebody.
Right.
Try doing it in your bank. Try to buy a house.
Try doing it in your bank. Yeah, when I had to put down like 35 grand or whatever for my house, dude, it's a wire thing and it takes 3 days and you got to move it into this. It's a pain in the ass to send large amounts of USD.
That's fair.
So you got to think about it. If you're storing your value there and you have a large percentage of your net worth and it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars and you need to move 100 grand to another country overnight, how else are you going to do it? You're not going to do that through your bank. It's going to raise a million flags. You're going to have to answer a bunch of phone calls, find a bunch of forms, explain what you're using it for. It's all going to be all this reporting versus sending the $100,000. Unless you hit whatever specific limit Coinbase might have for you to send in a specific day. I think it's 25,000, right? Isn't Coinbase's limit 25,000 on?
I don't know. I never sent that much.
But no. When you're sending, well, that's from the bank account, but you're talking about bank accounts like 25, 35. You can actually get approved more, but that's just the bank account. If you want to send $1 million in Bitcoin, I don't think Coinbase stops you from sending $1 million. You can send whatever you want.
I don't think so. I mean, I've never tried, but I hope to try one day.
That's a lot of crypto around. I've never been stopped by Bitcoin, as long as the address was in my list, of course. You know?
Yeah, but I just think it's an important distinction to make, to admit that the amounts of money that you're trying to move with Bitcoin, that fee is nominal compared to the inconvenience that you have to do it any other way. And so once you have a substantial amount of money in Bitcoin, then you'll start to see, oh yeah, this is super easy. Because how are you going to move $100,000 worth of gold, $200,000 worth of gold? Let's just say gold.
Right.
Do you want to be the custodian of it and have to hire a guy with a gun that, you know what I mean, someone could just shoot you and take it away from you? You know what I'm saying?
Did you guys see that like button that just popped up?
I did, on my freaking head.
Where did that come from? That's a StreamYard?
Did that? Someone did that.
Someone did. That's kind of crazy.
I can actually answer. It's Eric S. does Coinbase. Centennial. So they do, okay, but their thing is whack. You can ignore it almost and tell your accountant to ignore it, because if you trade on other exchanges, Coinbase doesn't actually know. With crypto, it's not yet as regulated as stocks. Like, you can't just transfer my stock in Tesla to someone else that easily. So imagine all the coins and all the transactions you're doing on all these exchanges. Does Coinbase actually know where the crypto, all of it comes from? No, they sort of only know what happens at their exchange. So sometimes their 1099s are not perfect, and you have to make sure that you're not just following them blindly, unless you do all your trading on Coinbase, of course. Then it's different. But if you're using other exchanges, it's not so accurate. I actually use a service. I forgot what it's called, but there's a service where you input all of the crypto from the different exchanges through, CSV files or whatever, or it connects to the exchanges with APIs now, and it takes all that data and actually figures out what your tax liability is automatically.
Yeah, because you do still have to pay if Bitcoin went to 100K tomorrow and you guys sold, you still have to pay taxes on it.
Long-term gains, right? And the thing is, I got Bitcoin from years and years back. Not even from some of it from Coinbase, some of it from Coinbase, some of it from Binance, some of it from all over the place. So it's not as easy what he said about the 1099s, unless you're just using Coinbase.
Right.
But at the end of the year, you just go to the spot with taxes, and they basically print out all the transactions, and you send that to your accountant, and you do whatever.
Well, there's a form. I forgot what it's called. There's an actual form I have to give to the accountant. I'm not even going to bring it up, but there's an actual form. You can look it up, and it's on all these crypto exchanges. They actually print out a form from all your transactions, and they give you the actual what you've made, what you've lost, and then the accountant uses that, at least for me.
So do you guys think this ETF is being approved in this month, or if you have to put a percentage chance on it?
I think it will. I think it will.
I hope not.
You hope not?
Yeah, I still want more Bitcoin. I'm greedy. Okay. I still want more Bitcoin. I still want more Ethereum, and I'm buying it right now. But if it goes up in 5 days to $4,000, I'm not buying any more Ethereum. At $2,000, I'm willing to buy Ethereum. At $4,000, I'm no longer a buyer. That's it. So if it goes there, then that's it. Whatever I have, and that's what I'm going to start selling at some point.
I would want more, but I'm in a little bit of a different position. I'm kind of have the Bitcoin. I'm happy with my Bitcoin position. I want more Ethereum, but I'm okay. I'm fine with it. I've done the math on.
Mine is called greed.
Listen, I'm greedy too, but I'm also like, okay, like I DCA'd the shit out of this thing in 2020, 2021. So I'm like, all right, I feel good about the position, and I calculated my position size based on if it returns to its previous all-time high, how much money do I make? So Ethereum's previous all-time high was like 4,700 or whatever. I'm saying, let's say it's 5,000. Let's just say it's 5,000, and I offload half the position. Then it goes to 10,000, which I think we're going to see. Then I've got some substantial gains there, and I'm basically trying to make it so that either one of those can pay off my house. If they hit the number, and then some. So
this is an interesting question. In the next 5 years, which one do you think gets better returns, Tesla or Bitcoin?
Tesla.
Really?
Yeah, because Bitcoin's going to pump, and then it's going to shit the bed for the next 3 years. So,
the thing is, in the next year, Bitcoin is going to win.
Yes, so in the next year, yes, but he's saying in the next 5 years. So this is my prediction. This is what happens. We're going to see a peak in Bitcoin somewhere this year or beginning of next year, whatever it is, a massive, massive sell-off. It's going to tank down to $30,000, $40,000 again and just be sitting around there for a while. Meanwhile, we're going to have better Cybertruck numbers. They'll release a $25,000 vehicle. They'll have more gigafactories. Ford will go out of business. You know what I mean? Like whatever the hell else. And that just keeps Tesla on a trajectory of going up and up and up and up and up.
So the optimal play here, I'm not exchanging my Tesla, of course, but the optimal play is if someone is risky enough to do it, is to convert
you're gonna
all of the Tesla to Bitcoin. That's the risky thing. All of it to Bitcoin. It goes to $150,000. Sell all of it. Go back into Tesla, even if it doubled, it won't matter, right? Because you just made 7x. Like, but I'm not that crazy. I'm not going to do it. But that is one of it's.
I would do that honestly. I would do that with like my SoFi or my Hood or my Innova. Yeah. I would do that.
I am thinking about that.
And I know, and I did that because I'm saying to myself, I do want more, but I'm not willing to spend anymore. Like I've got to secure some like work, and I got some money in the bank, but that's like irresponsible to spend it. So then I start looking at everything else, and I'm like, Anthony, no, sorry, bro.
You, Anthony.
No, I gotta. Sorry, just gotta take the money from there. I did that at a certain point in 2020 when Bitcoin dropped. It was like $3,000. Remember that? When it started rising again, that June, I was like, it's not going to stay at this price. So I have to buy now because having the money 6 months from now, it's not going to help me. I need to buy right now. And I freaking liquidated the dividend portfolio.
Right. So I still have my dividend portfolio. Sadly, in fact, I should have liquidated for a couple of positions, but I still have it. And I guess my bet then is like actually Ethereum, because if Ethereum right now, if crypto market chills for a little bit, we get back to like 1,500 or 1,000. I'm actually going pretty heavy into Ethereum.
Wait, but
I think we are going to 4,000 or 5,000 in Ethereum, at least. Yeah. So all of a sudden, if it chills a little bit, then my dividend portfolio is not going anywhere. I mean, it's collecting 5%, 7%.
And for me, if you see the way that they perform, it's like they both don't moon at the same time. It's like they kind of all take their turn. It's like having a solo in a band. One person takes a solo, everyone else plays a backbeat. So if Ethereum runs first, then you know that the Bitcoin pump is coming, right?
Yeah. Here's my question.
It's actually been very calm, by the way. Ethereum has not done anything massive.
It's not been doing much. The point is, if Ethereum does run, right? If it breaks its all-time high, then there'll be FOMO around that. Some money will come away from Bitcoin. And then once that thing blows off, what are people going to do? They're going to say, oh shit, Bitcoin's really cheap. I made all this money. They're going to start, and that's where
Ethereum will have to
aid into all of the freaking altcoins. After all the big boys are done, people are taking all these profits and they're like, whoa, fucking, what's this one? Shiba Inu? You throw 10 grand into that because I got all this money now,
But by the way, as soon as you start seeing all of that, this is a good point. As soon as you start seeing all of that money move to the shit coins, guys, we're hitting the top. We're very close. We're very close to the actual peak. Just remember that. If you see shit coins like Shiba Inu going 100x, we're getting there where you should be out of the game.
It's over. And then you just go into hibernation for a few years. So yeah.
Here's my question. What if you guys are dead wrong and Ethereum goes back to 1,000, Bitcoin goes to 25K? Like what if 2024 it doesn't happen? Is there any probability you guys are factoring in that, I mean, you guys won't be dead wrong. I'll be dead wrong too, because I'm thinking it's in this bull rally. But like, what if like it just doesn't go back to all-time highs? And this is not the rally. This is not the cycle, I guess.
If it doesn't, I don't think if it doesn't, it doesn't mean I'm going to sell it.
Right.
I'm just going to never sell it. You know what I mean? If it doesn't go where I think it's going to go, I'm never fucking selling it.
But would you be upset that you got or just
no, because I'm not all in on
Bitcoin.
Right. Why? That's what, look, the stock market is like, you've got to play that game. It's really the only way to create wealth. I mean, I think I realized that too late in my life, that is the only way to make real money is investing in the stock market and educating yourself on that. Right. And so for me, like Bitcoin is honestly a play to be able to have more cash to throw into the stock market, to be honest. So as long as I have my plays in the stock market, then Bitcoin and crypto can do whatever the hell it's going to do. I'm very confident that.
Remember, I lived through that. I went all in, and it went to 90% down,
Right.
And the only smart thing I did was not to sell it. Not the all-in part. That was the bad part. Okay, because that ruined like 4 years of my life.
But the thing is, you weren't dead when it mooned. You just didn't hit the sell button. That's a very different thing from what I'm saying to AMIT.
No,
where
when it crashed, 2017.
crashed, but you could have sold. The thing is, you just didn't hit the sell button. That's very different from what
I missed the important part of making the money. Yeah, I didn't sell.
It is, but the point is, it's not like the asset was there. It did what it was supposed to do. It was there for you. It showed up to the party.
Didn't take it. Yeah,
and you didn't ask it to dance. You know, it just was like, yo, I'm here. I'm wearing a short, low cut dress. Like, let's do this. And you were like, nah. You know.
Well, I got too greedy, and I thought it could go higher.
You thought somebody else better was going to come along,
and I didn't know enough about the cycles, and now I understand. So that's why I'm tempering my greed. I'm selling along the way to the top, like you said. I think Ethereum's going to 10, but it would be stupid of me not to, at 5K, take some profit and make sure I become almost whole, because that was basically still a 10x from my average, which is around $500.
Yeah.
So, you know, you do have to get rid of some of these assets along the way, even if it's not exactly where it is supposed to be, because once you make a 10x, don't be so greedy.
Well, that is what I'm saying is your experience is very different than what I'm saying AMIT could experience if he knew it, knew that the run could happen, or there was a high probability, had the money, and just didn't invest. It's different when you don't sell versus I didn't pull the trigger and buy it, because then you watch it run away from you and you're like, man, if I just could go back in time. That's what I experienced in 2017 when I had the money at the beginning of the year and I bought $500 in Bitcoin. And then I bought my house and I started doing all these renovations. And
that's a different scenario. And yes, you only bought 500, and I spent basically my actual cash life savings on crypto. So that's the difference. But one thing that's going to happen this cycle, like everybody we're talking about, it seems like, oh, it's obvious, it's gonna peak. What's going to happen? I bet you AMIT's going to fall for this too, because everybody does. It goes up to 125,000, and then everybody thinks it's going to 150.
Right.
And then it pulls back to 100, and then it tries to go to 110. It's like, oh, coming back, baby. And then it's over. So this is why I say how important it is to actually know what your plan is, because some people want to hold Bitcoin till it's $1 million,
right?
And they should hold it till it's $1 million because it's going to be very volatile. But there's another group who's planning to cash out at $150,000 exactly, and it's going to hit 138,000 or whatever. So, and those people are going to be
wiped out.
Totally wrecked.
They're going to be wiped out.
Absolutely wrecked. No joke.
Do you think Tesla made the wrong decision selling their crypto?
No. Tesla should not be involved in crypto. No, too volatile. It was a dumb thing to hold on their books. It's too volatile. Tesla makes enough money as it is. They can use the cash to build new factories. They don't need to hold crypto.
Because if they had held it, they would have taken a 50% drawdown, but now they would have been up like 20-30%. But
yeah, the market is not
really upset. Yeah, when it was down.
Yeah, well, we don't like it. Even I don't like it. I'm gonna, if I want crypto, I'm buying crypto. I don't need Tesla to hold crypto. You know what I'm saying?
Right. What price are you selling, Vitaly?
I'm starting to DCA out at basically the all-time high.
Okay.
I'm only a little bit. A Bitcoin we're talking about. For Ethereum, it's also roughly the all-time high. And I'm going to start making my. By the way, just to frame the position that I'm in, all my crypto is free. I don't know if you know that.
Meaning you took out your cost basis.
I took way more than that.
Okay.
It's going to take a lot of money for me to dump into crypto, even now as I DCA, to get to anywhere near actually having to pay for crypto ever again. Does that make sense?
You're playing with house money, basically.
Completely house money. Doesn't mean I like to. I want to lose, but I am negative in terms of my dollar cost averaging, if that makes any sense, right?
Right.
There's no like, oh, I'm at Bitcoin at 3,000. No. Bitcoin is negative 6,000 or negative 8,000, whatever I have. That makes any sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what I'm doing, but still, I'm still not stupid at all-time highs, because the one thing I did correctly is when Bitcoin started to tank last round, I took out all my fucking money and more. Like I went crazy, and me and Carlos had these talks back and forth.
No, we had arguments. We had
sell it. You got to get rid of it. It's fucking tanking. It's doing it. We had back and forth over and over and over. And I actually got rid of most of it. And I started buying it back when it started tanking. Not all of it. I still don't have all my crypto back. So when it hit 15,000, I did buy, when Bitcoin hit 15,000, I started buying back in. Okay, 20,000 I bought, 17,000, 15,000, but I didn't buy it back all in. So I'm not at the same core position I had, but I have no debt in crypto. Crypto owes me nothing anymore, if that makes any sense. Okay. So, but still now when I'm selling, I want to get to those all-time highs now to actually offload the rest. So at 5,000 Ethereum roughly, or 4,500, I'm going to start DCAing out, even though I think Ethereum is going over 10. At Bitcoin itself, I think Bitcoin is going over 100,000, but at 67,000 or whatever the all-time high is, I'm starting to DC out. Maybe a little bit before it. There's no exact, 65,000, 64,000. I'm not that particular. I don't actually wait for, it has to hit 69,000. As soon as I see like any sort of a little bit of weakness, I'm just like, okay, sell 10% of it. Just get rid of it. So that's what's going to happen. And I'm hoping to hit some sort of a high at around $150,000. I think Jesse said it can go up to 200,000, but honestly, by 150,000, I'm completely out of crypto. Like I might have a little bit left, like 5% of my position or something, just for the big what if for 20 years from now and for the kids. But for all intents and purposes, 95% of crypto will be gone by Bitcoin around 150K. If it even gets there, by the way, there's no guarantee it gets there. Like I said, at 130, I'm selling. At 120, I'm selling. I'm just going to keep selling all the way up.
Me too. I mean, I think if it does hit 150, I'll be surprised if I've got any left to offload at that price. But I'll be offloading heavy over 6 digits. I do want to go back because before I went to go take a leak, I do think that Tesla should be in Bitcoin, and I think more companies should.
Really?
I do think that
you don't think that's really volatile for shareholders that are already mad that Elon's buying Twitter and all this stuff?
The thing is, let them be mad. This guy, I want you to understand something. This guy said we're on target to make 1.8 million vehicles this year, okay? Which was 4 times the amount of vehicles that they made in 2020, and they fucking did it. Okay? Like at some point we've just got to start taking him at his word and start giving him some sort of additional benefit of the doubt. And I do think that buying Bitcoin at having a certain percentage, it was such a small percentage of their overall cash on hand.
What they have, 50 million? I forgot what they had.
It was I don't know. It was more than that.
They had a $30,000 average. I know that. But
yeah, $30,000 average. But I'm saying how much Bitcoin was it worth? How much was it worth at a certain point?
It was like 200 million, right?
It was a relatively small, tiny amount of their available cash on hand. And we know that they're incredibly good at allocating capital. So it was no amount of money that would make any sort of dent. I think the reason why they got rid of it is because on earnings, any decrease in that position, they have to report that as a loss. But until they realize the gains, they can't actually take advantage of the gains, right? So I could see why the CFO is like, maybe not. But to Kathy Wood's point, it's the same reason why every major company should have a little piece of gold, a little piece of the precious metals. It's just have your money spread out into sort of these stores of value, in addition to be investing in whatever else you're doing, just to sort of be diversified. And if all the companies did that, I mean, she calculated if all the companies had 1%, she calculated if all the S&P 500 companies had 1% of their free cash flow in Bitcoin, it would be $400,000 overnight. If they increased it to 10%, then Bitcoin would be $1 million. That's just the S&P 500 companies, right? So, I mean, I'm saying to myself, I would want to see them be diversified and have a small portion of it in there. The other thing too is there's been all this speculation about the power that the Tesla computers have, and there's all this speculation about whether or not eventually in the future you'll be able to actually have like mobile mining, where you'll be able to use a certain amount of the resources of your Tesla vehicle to be able to mine, whether it's Doge or Bitcoin or something, and start to generate some cash. So just on that level, I would want to see that they've got some skin in the game. And also for the appreciation. Inbound. They don't accept BTC, but when they announced the Cyber Quad, the only way that you could buy it was Doge. So when you wanted to buy the Cyber Quad on the Tesla website, it wasn't $1,200 or $2,000. It was like X number of Doge, and that was the only way that you could buy it. And there's been people that have hacked the OS of the operating system that's in the Tesla vehicles, and they have found code that is seeding the ground to allow for payments using Doge and Bitcoin. The only 2 cryptos that were in the code, the actual code of the OS, is Doge and Bitcoin. So hey, that's a ways away, but it gets you thinking about what could be possible when you're driving around a 4,400-pound mobile computer with incredibly powerful GPUs, right? And you got like a Dojo supercomputer in the background. You just start thinking about what they could be thinking about. So yeah, I don't want to see them in it. But to Vitaly's point about scaling out, when we were arguing, going back and forth, he's like, you got to sell this, and I don't want to sell, whatever. I decided to test what my overall theory was going to be, and what my overall game plan would be. Like, eventually, I would love to see all of my Bitcoin liquidated and all of that moved into Tesla stock majority after everything's paid. I'd want to double or triple my Tesla position overnight and say, that's it. Now I'm going to sit on that, and we're going to wait for that to run. But again, I'm trying not to time markets. So I did a little test, right? When Ethereum, I forgot what Ethereum was at. When Ethereum was at $3,000. This is after 4,700. It starts coming down. I was like, I don't want to sell a Bitcoin, so I'm going to sell some Ethereum. So I sold 10 Ethereum, and it was like 30 grand. Took the 30 grand, and then I bought 15 grand in Tesla, 15 grand in Enphase at whatever prices they were. Enphase tripled from that point. I ended up selling some of that and bought the Model X, and then the rest of the Tesla stock just ran. So you start to say, oh man, like I was able to seriously like amplify the gains. I was able to catch Enphase at 140 and sell it over 300. So I think I would repeat some sort of game plan along.
That's possible. What you're saying, I think, is possible. Again, crypto is going to run before Enphase and Tesla really take off in 2025.
Yeah.
I think it's possible to once again sell Bitcoin, buy Tesla and Enphase, and watch the next cycle of this happen.
Watch. And when I did the math, right? When I did the math of how much it cost me to make that 30 grand in Ethereum, it was $1,200. So $1,200 out of my pocket, DCAing into Ethereum hardcore in 2020 at $300 a coin or $400 a coin, whatever it was, to accumulate that Ethereum cost me, it was I think it was $1,200. It had to be
probably $3,000. It's probably like $3,000.
Yeah.
Either way, it's 10x. It's roughly 10x.
10x that, and then 10x. And then
3x
doubled, right? And then the Enphase position basically doubled or almost tripled. And then the Tesla position, I don't even know what I bought it at that price.
Right.
Why don't you guys have
20x?
Why don't you guys have any Doge?
I have a ton of Doge.
So you actually are bullish on Doge?
I have a ton of Doge because it's so cheap. It was so cheap. I was like, and again, all I said to myself is, how much money do I want to make if it revisits its all-time high of 74 cents? It went to 74 cents because Elon said, I'm the Doge father on Saturday Night Live. That's how ridiculous. We
need to come back for round 2 and say the same thing.
Literally go up there. But this is what I'm saying. This is what it is with these altcoins. They will run 70% on something as stupid as him saying, I'm the Doge father.
So that's pure speculation to you. You don't care about that.
Pure speculation. If I lost all of it, I'd be upset, but it's not going to make or break me. Same thing with the Cardano position. I really only have those 4: Cardano, Doge, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. And I did the same thing with Cardano. I was like, the all-time high was $3.10. How much money do I want to make if it hits $3.10 again? Oh, okay.
Where's it at right now,
Cardano? I need, I don't know, 26 cents or some shit.
No,
I was still waiting for the 12 cents.
56 cents today. I checked it out.
Oh, all right. I'm daily DC.
So the thing is, once again, it's another crypto episode. Sorry, guys, but we enjoy this, especially since we know we're going to become filthy rich at the end of the year. So,
well, like 430 people stayed, so other people enjoy it.
We like talking about it. But there's the altcoin
says D's nuts said no one's got more Doge than me. So all right, you're the D's nut, you're the Doge father, D's nuts.
By the way, I had 5 million Doge at one point. I never collected all that money because there's been a lot of problems, and I sold out too early. But I actually got stolen 2.5 million Doge from an exchange that went belly up.
Damn.
That happened years and years ago. So it was before the
downside. There's no FDIC protection. Like
no FDIC protection.
Go on there. They're taking your fucking money. Like
yeah.
Okay, what were you gonna say, Vitaly? Go ahead.
So crypto is interesting because the shit coins run at some point. All the altcoins start running. So even if you're in a crappy coin like Doge and it has no utility value, it's never going to be anything. But it doesn't matter. It's still going to run with Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it's kind of crazy. There's still money to be made on all these crappy coins. I don't want to be that guy in 2017, 2016 when I was buying that junk. I'd rather just stick to Ethereum and Bitcoin this time around because look, 5x is pretty great. Okay. So 100x is better, but 5x is pretty great. I don't have to worry about Ethereum. I'm just not scared when I hold Ethereum. You know what I mean?
You
And
also have more money now than you did in 2017.
yeah, that's true. But I also now want to buy other great stocks that are cheaper. You know, you can buy SoFi and still make an easy double or whatever, easy quote unquote. But I feel like those things are going to move up eventually with time. So I just don't want to go on the risk curve for all of this stuff. You know, I guess the riskiest thing I'm doing right now is buying the miners as using as a proxy for, you know, like a Clear Spark, like that one. That's sort of not in my MO, but I feel
Clear
like
Spark?
Clean Spark.
That's just so funny because everyone's buying these miners because
no. I could care less about. I could actually care less about the actual miner business. By the way,
Bitcoin miners are the SPACs of 2024.
Yeah, no, this is total junk, and I admit it. It's all based on. It's all
five
based on
guys in a fucking room with a bunch of GPUs.
Yeah, actually, okay. So what's funny is I did listen to their Q4 call. I actually did listen to the Clean Spark Q4 call, and yeah, it's an all right business. I mean, whatever. They're making more money. They're making more Bitcoin. Their electricity rates are going down. I listen to all of that, but honestly, it's just a proxy play on Bitcoin. As Bitcoin goes up in value, and they're holding a lot of Bitcoin and they're producing it, that's all it's a play on. But I have no desire to hold miners beyond 2025. Like after January 2025, I never want to hear the word miner for 4 years.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I have 1 year to capitalize on the miners, and that's it.
Yeah, or even do options even because it's like they're cheaper to buy. There's better upside. And
I'm getting rid of all of that. That's all junk for me. I'd rather keep my Bitcoin and just get rid of the miners.
My fear is if Bitcoin doesn't do what everyone's saying it's going to do, everyone who's like this deep into it is going to lose a lot of money because then we're going to have to wait years and years and years if it doesn't happen in this cycle.
Well, you know what's going to happen? You know what Bitcoin does? This is what you're not expecting. What is going to happen? Bitcoin's going to go back to 20, 25,000, whatever it's going to drop to, and it's going to eliminate all these assholes who are trying to speculate.
Yeah.
Then it's going to go to 100,000. That's what Bitcoin
do you think that's the setup? Do you actually think that's the setup?
I absolutely think this is.
It is built. This
whether
is
it's 50,000 to 25 or 60 to 30, whatever eliminates all of the tourists, that's what's going to happen. And a lot of people in the audience are actually tourists. I know it for a fact. And we're going to see a lot of people scream at us how Bitcoin sucks. And then 6 months later, they're going to say, why didn't I hold it? You watch. Okay.
Because it is literally built into the network. It is built into the inflation rate of the asset that it has to go up unless literally everybody just sells their fucking Bitcoin. But at this point, we know that there's so much of Bitcoin that's already been burnt, like that is just inaccessible, that we're already playing, I think, with only 30% of the available supply. Everyone that's buying now, only 30% of all the available Bitcoins that are right now. So 20 million. So we're only going to get 1 more million, but still 30% or so of it can actually be bought. There's also a whole bunch of these coins that are not even on exchanges. Like they're not even on exchanges. You know what I'm saying? Like that's talk about storage. These people are not selling. And so that whatever they paid, whatever money they put in to purchase those coins, it cannot go lower than that. There is a basement price of Bitcoin just off of the amount of it that's inaccessible and then the amount of it that's actually off the exchanges. So, okay, it's going to tank, but built into that somewhere within the next 4 years, it is going to have a massive run up. We just don't know exactly when. We don't know how high and we don't know how far it's going to crash. We might know percentage wise, right? Say 80%, 90%, but hey, I don't know what that price is going to be if I don't know what the peak price is. If it's 200,000.
Can you make a poll right now and be honest, everybody in the chat? Are you a fucking tourist or are you going to hodl this shit? Just put those two options. Are you a fucking tourist or are you going to hodl to
are you dating Bitcoin or is Bitcoin your side chick? Your little side.
Okay, dating or side chick.
And be honest here because like you have to know yourself when you're investing. And I'm not a tourist. I know that. I've hodled it for a long time. And even when I sold, by the way, there's a stack I kept. I knew what I was keeping. I knew what I wanted to sell. So that's important. That's why I told you, Amit, that when you are planning this, know what you're getting rid of and know what you're keeping because it's going to test you all along the way. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's why it's easier to sell a little bit along the way because if you got at least, let's say you got your money back and you got your 5X, you got your money back. You're not as worried. Yes, the gains can go away, but you're not as worried anymore because you got your initial investment out. It's easier to hold.
If we end up getting more fucking votes than likes on this video, be like, you couldn't have clicked the like button.
Wait,
Well,
where
we
we
actually got 168 likes.
Okay, well,
Somebody like.
I had to refresh. I was at
So we got 53% dating, 48% side chick. It's 50-50.
it's about 50-50.
50-50. It's a good poll because honestly, 445 people here. I wonder. I would imagine 200 are, I guess, long term. The other 200 are kind of just like let me just.
No,
And this is why the price jumps so much. So imagine it goes to 60,000. Some of these people will not sell, even though they think they're hodlers here, and then it crashes to 50, 40. They're gone.
They're
That's
gone.
it.
Yeah.
You're out.
Yeah.
You got 80 votes now. It's 52-40. Yeah, it's basically 50-50.
Shitcoins are the side chicks. That's
There
a
you
good
go.
one.
Yeah,
Be honest.
that's the way to do it. But keep in mind too, out of 436 people, like only it sounds like only 85 of them are holding Bitcoin. It's not like all 400 of them are. Nobody's watching this channel for Bitcoin news. Like,
but people say it, so.
No, but hold on. This is part of it because as Bitcoin goes to 60, 70, 80,000, those same people who don't have Bitcoin will absolutely start to FOMO into Bitcoin, and they will lose their shit.
Everyone says they're not going to FOMO. No, everyone's going to.
Everybody FOMOs.
Unless you're like a Warren Buffett type of investor, you're going to fucking FOMO. You're going to want to make money. It's just inevitable.
The secret to Bitcoin is you have to be there before the FOMO starts. Because as soon as it starts, look what happened. AMIT is basically a real.
You gotta be there whenever. You got to be there when everyone's telling you how it's used to launder money and how the terrorists.
Yes.
That's when you go, oh, really? Hold on.
I gotta buy that.
It's
like, oh shit, that sounds kind of smart.
If you drug the laundering, I love that shit.
Right. You gotta okay, let's
like I like clean clothes. Yeah, let's launder.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think Chris will call the top when he FOMOs at he's like, oh, fine, 1%, $150,000 Bitcoin, 1%. I'm going all in. Sell.
No, Chris will come back in and he'll be like, guys, so I did some DD. I'm gonna pull up some charts. He's gonna, like here's the price of the wafers that they use to make the chips that are it's dropped 89,000%. And so I'm kind of a little bullish.
No, he's gonna be like, you know what, money laundering actually is a good business.
He's like, here's a chart that shows money laundering is a $750 billion a year
growth curve. It's growing at 2% annum.
Dude, no, he would actually come up with. Yo, I am convinced Chris can make anything sound bullish or bearish. Like, literally anything.
100%.
He's super convincing.
And the other thing with Chris, nothing gets Chris. Like for example, I think he doesn't like Enphase. He just doesn't like Enphase. So what he'll do instead is he's not going to say I don't like Enphase. What he'll do is to say, yeah, I've been looking at solar companies and First Solar has been having. And their market cap is reasonable. Same fucking market cap, same everything, same price.
He doesn't like Enphase. He's a fuck it. He's not buying Enphase.
He's
like $3.
And dude, that's like me with Snowflake. If it was the same valuation of Palantir, I'd be like,
yeah, like he will not. He will not. But it's great because you get to hear.
Chris is driving back from his brothers, but no, I think. Go ahead.
He's gonna have to respond to this. We shouldn't continue talking about him. He's gonna have to respond to all of this when he's gonna.
You give him the
Bitcoin at around 125,000, basically.
Speaking of Chris, real quick. I mean, let me just real quick. Let me give him a shout out. Verizon was the only stock that was up today, $39.39. So Verizon's trying to close in on that $40. It seems like a little bit of growth went to value today, not just for Verizon. Dollar General, Pfizer, for VITALY, all those were up. So we saw a little bit of a rotation.
Dollar General is doing pretty well. Well, it actually fell today, but from when I was buying it, it is up.
Yeah.
Why don't we do a segment called The Last Word? So when Chris comes on tomorrow, if he watches this episode, he'll get the last word uninterrupted. We do not respond no matter what he says, no matter how much.
5 minutes to shit on us.
5 minutes to say
you know what? You are all some speculative fucking gamblers. You have no idea. That would be hilarious.
Well, he's a good example of like when he FOMOs in. That is probably I'm not kidding. That's probably the top. Like when my father contacts me and tells me, hey, should I buy Bitcoin? Like when he calls me back, because every 4 years he tells me, oh, is Bitcoin going? What's going on? I see it going up. And then when it crashes, he's like, did you sell? I told you to sell.
Yeah. See, the thing about Chris, I don't think he would FOMO in. I think he's too disciplined. Like that. I think that's your point, Vitaly. If Bitcoin actually breaks his discipline,
no, he won't.
Bitcoin breaks everybody's discipline eventually. He will. Or people like him. I mean, just say people like him. When your mother and father are like, "Oh, should I buy Bitcoin right now? It's $100,000. I hear it's going to $200,000."
Dude, my mom made $1,000 off AMC in 2021. My mom made $1,000. Somehow she made $1,000 of profit off AMC. Like she had no idea what she was doing. Like,
my goodness.
My buddy that year in 2020, I called a select group of people to say, hey, look, I'm looking at charts and I'm looking at this, and I really think like you should put some money into Bitcoin, right? But I was being really sort of just quiet about it. Most of them didn't do anything. No, didn't buy anything. One guy actually, he took me seriously, and he made a ton of money on Ethereum. He literally timed it the week before it took off. Like 3 days later, it shot up, and it was amazing because he actually bought a house off of that. Like I didn't even make that much. I was like, damn, dude, you crushed it. But then a little while later, he told me, he's like, I gotta tell you, I started talking to my mom about it, and this was her retirement year, and he basically convinced her to take like $2 or $3 grand or whatever it was and put some money into whatever. And she's like, I'm not gonna do it. If anything, you're gonna do it. I'm gonna give you the money and you're gonna do it. Dude, she made like $20,000 on Bitcoin like that.
All right, last question. Let's do it here. Last question. If you have a prediction end of year, what do you think?
Get your telescope and look out the window, and you'll see me and VITALY.
Okay, so at what? Hold on. There's a better question. At what point would it have to be at the moon for you to think you're not wrong? Like May, June? Do you give it till November?
Well, remember, we're not wrong right now. So we were.
No, I know, but like, let's say it's June and we're still stuck.
You're talking about if we're wrong about 100,000 or not. We're not wrong. It's 45,000.
I'm just saying all-time highs. I'm not even saying 100. Like, at what point does it have to get there in 2020?
No,
at least 60K.
His question is:
have you ever had cheer wine?
No.
Is that Coke? It is. It's like a fake Coke. I bought it by accident. Cheer wine.
Is it wine?
Warren Buffett would not be happy.
No, it's not wine. It's like cherry Coca-Cola, basically, but they call it cheer wine. Anyway,
damn.
Bought it by accident. It tastes like shit.
No, his question was at what point in the year, time frame wise?
Sponsored by Cheer Wine. Thanks for right.
Yeah, like at what point does it have to get to like the levels where you're like, all right, I was right that Bitcoin this year, we're in the cycle.
I can answer that easily. I'm not looking anywhere for a peak price until at least 150 or 200 days after the halving. So that's April 24th. Is when the
December.
Yeah.
So timing matters.
Somewhere around November, December, because it takes time. Like just because it halves doesn't mean it just shoots up instantaneously. It takes time. Just like the amount of inflation that we're seeing now is as a result of the money printing, right? From a few years ago. And you gotta connect those two events. It's the same sort of deal. And so once the Bitcoin halves, and then you see how the miners respond to that, and then you see what effect that has on the asset. Because understand something too, even if the buying and selling of crypto remains exactly the same, there's half of the Bitcoins that are being introduced into the system. So look at it as not a share buyback, but look at it like share dilution. Okay. Every 10 minutes, 6.5 or 6.25 Bitcoins are coming into the network created out of nothing, and they're taking their value from the existing pool of money. And so you're getting diluted 6.25 Bitcoin every 10 minutes, every 24 hours a day. That's now suddenly going to go in half. So even if the buying and selling remains normal, we're getting diluted less. It's automatically creating a slight upwards pressure on the price because the rate of deflation or the rate of inflation is going down. And so it takes time for you to see that, right? And so that's why if you just look at historically, the peak price of Bitcoin doesn't come till at least 150, sometimes maybe a year later. But we've got so many macro forces. Institutions are involved with a much higher market cap. Social media is much more aware of it. You have channels like Finance Junkies that are talking about it. I mean, this shit is it's much more. People are much more aware of it now, and so the information travels just way faster. And so could be sooner, could be later, but I'm not thinking anything before November next year, September, November. I'll be surprised if it's in the summer.
Right.
Usually I'm still going to DCA out, like I said. So I agree that timing is important. That November, December, January, February. That's probably when it's going to hit its peak. But I'm not going to be irresponsible. That's all I'm saying. So after 69,000 or so, 65,000, whatever, I feel like it's time to take a little bit I will slowly until maximal by, like I said, 150. That's it. I'm basically out completely. Maybe 5% holding, 3% holding, whatever.
What are your top 3 questions, Garcia? Because we'll end it, but
yeah, we should end it
real quick.
What did you say? I got so many questions. No, let's do it for tomorrow. It's at 10 o'clock. We gotta, Garcia, or just DM me, Garcia, and we'll start it with tomorrow with those.
It's only 7 o'clock here.
No DM, no DM. You have to be on the pod. Hit the like and ask the questions.
All the Spanish people in the chat know what this is.
Is that alcohol?
No, it's non-alcoholic.
Malta Goya. I've seen this before. I don't know what it is though.
Okay, white people, when they drink it, they say it tastes like bean juice. A Spanish person tastes it, and it's like liquid unicorn tears. It's like the best thing ever.
Is it coconut water, basically?
No, it's a freaking. Actually, there's a version of this from India. You might know this.
I'm pretty sure I've had it. Yeah,
you might know it. Actually, I think the Malta from India tastes better than the Goya one. But I've just been slamming those like lately, and they're good. They're really good. So that's what I've been drinking. Cheers.
All
right, that's it, everyone. Thank you for being here. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 p.m. to end out the week on Thursday.
What was this episode about?
Yo, the title was about the Fed and the FOMC. Like, I just changed the title right now. So Bitcoin
podcast to start. You're gonna end the.
Bye, everyone. Yeah, let me end it. Bye, everybody.